if we will be 70% of 10 or 11 billion people living in cities, then of course there's a lack of land. How are we going to produce the food, and how are we going to transport the food? And of course, how are we going to do this in a resource sustainable way? To me, that's the last part, because the obvious part is the land issue. That's why you have to go vertical. The project that we do in Linköping, that's based on a new building coming up. It's a two-side building. One is an office building and one is a vertical greenhouse. Then there are really smart things happening between the two, because plants sometimes needs a little bit more carbon dioxide. Then we take that from the office building. So when people breathe in the office, we take that carbon dioxide and push it into the plants. And we need oxygen, and the plants produce oxygen. So then we push the oxygen from the plants into the office building. If you look at the Linköping case, for example, we lean the front of the building so that we get in the winter time as much sunlight in as possible, not to consume so much electricity for the LED lights, although we need lots of LED lights anyway. People might have a little bit different views on what a vertical farm really is. We might be a little bit extreme. To us, vertical farms are industrial scale food production, like a food production line that you can compare to a car production line, and you do it on a vertical, not horizontal, but vertical. Small-scale farming is really good. I do it too in my home garden. It's really nice. But if you want to have 15% of the food production in cities, then you have to think very, very differently. In the industry of greenhouses, in many places all over the world, where you have big-scale production, you would have a conveyor belt that you grow food on, meaning that you have planting on one end of the conveyor belt, and then the plants move very slowly during the whole period that they mature, let's say 30 days. After 30 days, they reach the other end of the conveyor belt, and then you harvest over there. What would happen if I took the conveyor belt and made a spiral out of this? I would do exactly the same thing. I would find out a way to get it down again. But essentially, I would grow with the same material, the same way, and I would use less footprint on the ground. He kept the principle, but he took away the conveyor belt, moving everything at the same time. Instead, he had drawings for a small little robot that moved piece by piece. Because on the conveyor belts, you would have boxes, industrial scale growing boxes, where you put one plant here, here, and here. They might be 5 meters long or 3 meters long, depends on the conveyor belt. Then you move all of them. And he said, no, I will have a static rail going up. Then I put all the boxes on this rail, and then I have a little robot going under the boxes, moving one, going to the next one, push one, going to the next one, push one. So instead of having a huge system, he had one single mechanical part, or the robot, in the whole system. This is also possible because we don't use soil. Soil brings the nutrients and everything the plant needs, but it also brings dirt into the system and bacteria that they don't really need. So most of the companies or the actors in this industry, they would use hydroponic-based system, which means that you take the nutrients in fluid to the plants. Over the next 3 years, I think that we will see much more projects coming up, like the one that we initiated in Linköping. But it has been very hard. We're chasing the future infrastructure of cities because we really believe that if no one has the guts to try, we won't have the solutions in time.